It's nearly 4:30 in the morning. I just have been wanting to record something about this recently. I never considered myself a social person. In fact, I have social anxiety, social phobia. I diagnosed with it my freshman year of high school. And I struggled with having friends and maintaining friendships, and all sorts of circumstances led to that. And it didn't really get better throughout school. And I had this really intense fear leaving high school that I would not talk to any of my friends ever again. Because you hear about that. You hear about, oh, we'll keep in touch, and then you just don't talk to each other, you know? I was really worried about that, especially because I am not one to reach out. It's funny for me to say, like, I was worried we wouldn't keep in touch, and then also say that I would not try to keep in touch. I have so much going on in my own head that I have a really hard time, like, initiating that. So I was really worried when I graduated that I would, like, stop seeing my friends or stop talking to them. But last week, 3 days in a row, I got to hang out with my 3 IRL friends, and it was probably the happiest I've been in a really long time. I can't remember the last time that I felt so, like, listened to, but also invested in someone else. So last Tuesday, it was like the night time, and I texted my friend, and I met them my junior year. They were freshmen, and we met in ASL. And we got sat together, and we never got separated. We sat next to each other the rest of the year. We both took second year ASL, but ended up with different teachers. So I didn't see them a lot my senior year. But junior year, we were, like, inseparable in that class, right? We hung out a couple times outside of school, but other than that, you know, I would talk to them outside of school, but I was concerned that after graduating that it would just kind of be like an out of sight, out of mind thing. Like, we still ate lunch together and stuff when I was a senior, and so once I left, I kind of, like, if there's not that there anymore, that they wouldn't want to, you know, or they wouldn't even think about it, you know. Last year, went to a choir concert that my sister was also in, and just stood and, like, waited, and I walked up to them, and they were like, I'm so happy to see you, I love seeing your face, like, oh my god. And it made me emotional, you know. And ever since then, we've kind of tried to maintain more contact. We've hung out a couple more times since that. They have expressed to me that I helped them a lot with, like, their queerness and their identity, and that I was, like, a huge stepping stone for them, and nobody's ever, like, told me anything like that. That relationship is very important to me. They're going off to college after this summer. They're starting next school year, and I said, I will drive 3 hours to see you, and they were like, I will drive 3 hours to see you. So I have a feeling that it will last past this. Wednesday of last week, I saw a guy that I hadn't seen in actual years. I've known him since middle school. We met in social studies through a mutual friend who I'm not friends with anymore. And kind of didn't talk to each other until junior year again. We were in English class together, and I just knew who he was. And the way that my little social anxiety brain works is like, oh, I know this person, I know their name, and they know who I am, so I am immediately, like, drawn to that person. And we talked, got each other's numbers, you know. I ate lunch with him sometimes, hung out with him sometimes at school, but never outside of school or anything. And then senior year, we went out like once. I went to his house once and just chilled, right? But ever since we had graduated in 2023, I had not. I had heard from him. We stayed connected through social media. But we had not, like, gotten together. And then I left Instagram a few months ago, and he texted me a couple weeks ago and was like, I noticed that you're not there anymore. I just wanted to, like, make sure this was still your number. And he's like, we should hang out. You know, I was like, we should hang out. And he had spring break, and so we went to the park and had snacks and then watched Netflix. And I was there for 8 hours. And I didn't want to go home. And it was awesome. And I just saw him again today. I guess yesterday, technically, because it's 4 in the morning. And we just went to a different park this time. We watched the ducks swimming around. I fed them popcorn. And he showed me some funny videos. And it was very chill and, like, you know, whenever something would present itself, we would talk for a minute, but there was no pressure to, like, fill the silence. And then on Thursday, I got to see my best friend, who I try to see at least once a week, but still, like, them and their sister came over. Their sister, me and my sister played Overcooked. It was very fun. And we had dinner, and I just, like by the end of Thursday night, I felt so much, you know? I was feeling so many things, and it was all good things, and I haven't felt that in a really long time. I guess earlier I was thinking about if middle school me could see me now, you know, or even freshman me, when I stopped talking to people because of my health issues. I kind of wasn't in school my freshman year, didn't really talk to anyone because no one reached out to me because we're teenagers, and I had so much anxiety I could not reach out to anyone else, and I had no one, and I was so terribly lonely. And then it was the pandemic, and then I had to start all over from the bottom up and build new relationships. And then shit happens, you know? If 15-year-old me could see how I am feeling right now, I think he'd be really happy. He'd be happy to know that I keep in contact with my friends that I met online, and that we still know each other and update each other on our lives. He'd be glad to know that he has 3 friends that he can rely on. And that feeling of, like, isolation is temporary, even though it feels like it lasts years at a time. Even me a few months ago, if I could go back and show myself that this is what it's like, you know? I just love having people, relationships that I have to maintain and foster, you know? A lot of, like, my friendships and relationships are by proximity, because I have to be around these people, therefore I friends with them. That's how all of my friendships started. But they turned into more meaningful relationships. And I was able to foster that. Now that I am old enough to kind of make my own decisions and like make my own plans and kind of like do what I want and go off and do what I want. And it's just so cathartic because I never thought I'd have people. And people who just listen and accept me as a person. I don't feel like I have to hide anything about myself, even though each of those relationships is different, because I have different aspects of myself come out in different levels with each of those people. But all three of them, I feel like I am able to fully exist in a way that I haven't for so long, because I've just been stuck at home with my family, you know. I love my family. It's just different. I kind of just want to make this so that in times of self-isolation and kind of those moments of like doubt and like self-hatred, for me to look back and be like, this is worth it. And there are people who want to be around you, you know? People who choose it, not people who have to live with you or people who have to see you, but people who actively nurture that with you. It's not something I ever thought would happen, because it's never happened to me. It feels so fucking good. It makes me so happy, and I want this feeling to last forever. I don't want to be away from my friends ever again. And that's how I feel now. And I want to remember that. And I want you to know, if you're watching this, if someone else is watching this, that there are people out there who are willing to do this for you. You might not have met them yet. You might not know them yet. Maybe you do. But if it's possible for me, then it's possible for you. No matter how much you feel like you isolate and separate yourself, or how lonely you are, or how individual your experience is, that there are people who are willing to listen to you. And not even just listen to you, but enjoy your company, have fun, have conversations, you know, be deep and intellectual, be silly, all of these, like, this whole range of anything. There are people out there who will do it. And it took me until now to realize that I love these people, and they are the people that I chose, and that they chose me, and I'm just so happy. I don't know if you can tell. That's all I wanted to talk about.